Now, if people believe that the universe was invented by a kind of superhuman being, it's not just a falsehood, it's a denigration of the wonder of the truth. And nobody's better than you at expressing the wonder of the truth. And I'm surprised you're not worried that there are people who promulgate this minimization of the excitement of what's really true.
Well, you can offer them the truth, but if they prefer their personal truths of their holy books, then that's a decision they made in a free society. You've written so much and spoken so much about religion in the world. Why do you even care? Why does it matter to you?
Don't you care? I mean,
well, no, okay. So I care when the religious thinking of, and there's so many religions in the world and gods that have been praised in the world. I care when that attempts to influence law, policy, and the science classroom. Otherwise, if you go to mosque on the weekend, synagogue, church, I don't concern myself with that.
Okay, I think this is where we may slightly differ. I do care about that, but I also care about this. If people think they live in a very different kind of universe from the one that I think they live in. Now, you and I would agree that the universe came about with the Big Bang nearly 14 billion years ago and all that stuff, and a wonderful story of inflation and then the origin of life and evolution and so on. This is a thoroughly exciting, exhilarating, stimulating story. Now, if people believe that the universe was invented by a kind of superhuman being, that is it's not just a falsehood, it's a denigration of the wonder of the truth. And nobody's better than you at expressing the wonder of the truth. And I'm surprised you're not worried that there are people who promulgate this minimization of the excitement of what's really true.
Well, you can offer them the truth, but if they prefer their personal truths of their holy books, then that's a decision they made in a free society. Now here's the key word you use: promulgate. Yeah, if they say, I'm Christian, I'm going to make you Christian at the point of a sword, then yeah, I object to that, right? I don't want the coercion of people's belief systems being forced on as an active force on others, be it in the school system or anywhere else. But I walk in the street, I live in a city, as do you. You walk down the street, you see people saying, oh, Jesus is coming, the end is near, or they're talking out loud to no one. And I think to myself, wow, they really believe this. This is that's their world. And I don't try to, maybe because I don't have the energy to do so. I can't explain it. I don't know. But
I'm sure it's not that.
I don't want them running for office, making laws that then have to apply to other people who have different religions or no religion.
Yeah, of course. No, we agree about that. And I too do not want to bludgeon people into believing what I believe. I want to persuade them. I want to show them, as you do, how wonderful the scientific worldview is. I'm just sad if they don't get it. I mean, of course they're free not to, and I wouldn't want to compel anybody, but they're missing so much. And you must agree with that. I mean, when you think of how wonderful the stories that you tell in the planetarium are, if they don't get it, then they're missing so much. And it's such a shame. That would be my way of looking at it.
So why is it their problem and not your problem? So in other words, why isn't, while they're not getting it, I must be failing at my attempts to persuade them rather than, they're idiots, they can't.
No, of course. I mean, and that's why I work so hard at it. I mean, I work so hard at writing these books because I want people to get it, but I don't want to force them to get it. I want them to get it because it's so wonderful.
Is it true that of all of your books, the biggest selling among them is The God Delusion?
I'm afraid it is, yes.
Yeah. What do you mean you're afraid it is? Just is.
It just is. I would like it to be one of the science books, but it is, yes.
Because people are interested in the subject of God. And
I guess they are.
Yeah, and not only that, I heard you say on, I think it was an interview, that some non-zero fraction of the sales of that book were from evangelical religious folks to try to sort of clue themselves in on how the other side thinks. Do you have any data on that?
I'm not sure about that. It's certainly true that there are about 22, I think, books from evangelical, or from Christians anyway, replying with names like Deluded by Dawkins and the Dawkins Delusion, and sort of permutations on the title of the God Delusion. So that is true, but I don't have any actual statistics on it.
That's pretty cool. Deluded by Dawkins. Got to give him credit. Give him credit for that.
There are lots like that.
Okay, so that meant somebody out there was reading your book, that from the other camp.
Oh yes,
I guess.
Yeah.
Tell me more about the goal of the Richard Dawkins Foundation. And I'm delighted to say you don't have to say this, that your books are successful enough, and there's a supply of cash. You can create a foundation that can help causes around the world in the service of a mission statement. And then the foundation attracts donors who are of like mind, as any foundation would be. So could you just give me a few sentences about this foundation?
I started it soon after The God Delusion was published, and I started it both in Britain and America, the Richard Dawkins Foundation for Reason and Science. It's now mostly based in America, and in the last few years, it merged with the Center for Inquiry, CFI, which is a much larger organization. And so there's now a big organization behind it. Between these two, it's a sort of sub department of the Center for Inquiry. The Center for Inquiry,
the CFI has magazines and lists
right, has magazines.
And things. So there's a whole machine in place. Yes.
There's a whole machine there, and a big office, and it has a whole division which is concerned with non-religious nonsense like astrology and homeopathy and things like that. Being abduction by flying saucers and stuff. And that's been going for a very long time. And so also has the secular humanism going on for a long time. And so the Richard Dawkins Foundation fits in nicely with that, but it's become a sort of junior partner to the CFI.
This has been Star Talk. Thanks for listening. Some of you are even watching. I've been your host, Neil deGrasse Tyson, your personal astrophysicist, as always, bidding you to keep looking up.